best things and all the things we're supposed to do. And we completely miss ourselves. We're not loving ourselves. We're not giving ourselves the attention that we require to have a productive inner life, inner garden. We talk about the fruits of the Spirit, but so often we're so involved in the outer that we don't encounter those fruits. We wonder about our destiny, and is there such a thing? Is there a flow to our lives? I mean, I believe there is. To everyone's life, there is a flow. And one of the great ways of being a spiritual gardener is to keep our eyes and ears wide open and discern that flow. And to discern when we're swimming against the current because we've bought into some goal that's really not ours, some desire that we really don't share, see. But maybe it's culturally approved or approved by parents, see. And to be so aware of oneself requires this love. See, I love that. It's not, oh, Marshall, you're so beautiful. Or try to muster up a grin in the mirror. It's also to sit with Marshall. Marshall, sitting with Marshall, observing the thoughts, getting better and better at calming Marshall down, listening to the yearning of my soul. See, when we can do this, we can then not only be aware of the blessings that we've been gifted with from the beginning, but all those things that get in the way of that. See, again, we're not creating our divinity, we're uncovering it. If we never spend any time with ourselves, listening to ourselves, honestly, being with ourselves, how do we ever encounter those things? I call them accretions. How about that for a word? Accretions. Those things we accumulate from our experiences in life. If we never take the time to love ourselves in that way, very difficult to notice the weeds, to notice the stones and the thorns. So we must spend time with that awareness, doing some cleansing, knowing that past experiences don't have any power over us, certainly not the power we've given to them. We can notice ourselves giving power. You ever notice yourself getting hooked by something or someone? It shows up for me a lot when I really am into feeling inferior to someone that I'm with. Ever do that? No, probably. I'm sorry. I'm trying to come up with something that you can relate to. No, but, it's called intimidation. Intimidation. Someone's light is so bright that pitched into comparing. Oh, I wish I could be. But see, being a good gardener, you catch that right away. Or 6 months later. But that awareness says, look at you. Look what you've just done. A few minutes ago, you were affirming that you were God's beloved. And now you're wishing you could be as good as this person. See, you got hooked. You got hooked. See, these are the fruits of awareness, the fruits of actually being able to observe oneself in the world. So, this way of loving ourselves, I thought it was really a great, great insight. He goes on. If she could listen carefully to the yearnings of her own soul. Anybody done that lately? I haven't. I mean, I've practiced meditation, all that, but the yearnings of my own soul. Fruitful. Could be. She might uncover, note the word uncover, what else besides motherhood nourished her heart and spirit. See, we're so hooked by the idea of being a good mother, a good father, a good husband, a good minister, a good teacher. We're hooked by that. And we miss out touching the source of life itself that allows us to be all those things without taking thought. We're naturals at love. We're naturals at the gifts we have. We all have a flow to our lives, leading us to greater and greater good, leading us to the gifts that we have to give. But we get hung up in all these comparisons. We get distanced from our own spirit. And the trick is somehow to give all that up for a time, all the need to do all that and be all that, and just touch that truth within ourselves. And then behold, as Paul said, I live, yet not I. The Christ lives in me. See? And we're able to unburden ourselves from the task of being what we think we should be and what we think others think we should be. This is interesting. As it happened, there was a 10-day meditation scheduled with my friend Jack Cornfield, perhaps you've heard his name, at the Lama Foundation, a retreat center north of Taos. So Elizabeth never practiced meditation before. Wayne suggests, how about going to a 10-day meditation retreat? How about that? And she's understandably concerned. She's been so outwardly focused. See, a lot of times we're so outwardly focused, it does keep us from listening to ourselves. Maybe we don't want to listen to ourselves. Maybe there's so much in that inner dialogue, inner noise that we've maybe caught glimpses of that let's keep distracted. See? But she agrees. And it was so interesting because she went to this 10-day retreat. And one of the things she observed to Wayne afterwards, she said, I discovered a spaciousness that I hadn't felt for years. Sitting in the silence for 10 days, listening to all the voices. I love that too. It's, when we give ourselves time to do it, then we have the luxury of listening to all the voices that show up. See? It's like I shared at the first service, Ram Dass, you've heard of that great teacher. He said something like this, that, people call me enlightened, but I still have my negative thoughts and my anxieties and my fears and my demons. I still have all that. But he says the difference now is I just invite them all in for tea. I don't have to run from them. I don't have to judge them. In fact, I have to listen to them, but in a dispassionate way and not get hooked by those voices. Just, what do you have